Today we're going to see the alphabet and some conversations in Spanish. So let's begin with the alphabet. The alphabet in Spanish is very similar to English, but there are some differences, some situations that are different in both languages. So I'm going to point out those, and I'm going to comment a little bit on how we use the alphabet and how we create words in Spanish. So the first thing that you should keep in mind is that the vowels that we have in Spanish are five, and the way we say them, the way we produce the sounds are different from English. Another thing is that the vowels in Spanish always have the same sound. So when you see A, it's going to be always A. Doesn't matter where you put it in the word, it's going to be always A. So A is A. Then we have E, which is E in English. We have I, which is I. We have O, which is O, and we have U, which in English is U. So in Spanish are A, E, I, O, and U. Remember, it's U, it's not U, it's O, it's not O, it's I, it's not I, it's E, it's not I, and it's A, not A. So another thing that I want to point out is that in Spanish, the V and the V, they sound very similar. When you say it in a word, they sound very similar, but they are two different consonants. V is labial, is when you say bonito, and V is labial and dental. So you say, for example, when you say viene. So, but when you say that in a word, it's very similar. The sound that you produce is bien and viene. It sounds quite the same. So just keep that in mind. Then we have the combination CH. In English, many times you get like chemistry or chiropractor, right? But in Spanish, it's always going to be like cha, che, chi, cho, and chu. For example, you say muchacho, muchacho. Right? So then we have the LL that in English sometimes is collateral or college. In Spanish, it's going to be ya, ye, ji, yo, and you. Then we have the R. The R in Spanish is always I mean, if it's at the beginning of the word, it's going to be strong. It's going to be like rápido, for example. At the beginning, the R sounds very strong. And also, when you have in the middle of the word between two vowels, and if you have double R, it's going to be strong too. For example, hierro. Hierro is hierro, two vowels in the corners, right? And then two R's. Hierro. So if you have a word that has an R at the beginning or two R's in the middle of the word, you know that the R has to be pronounced strong. If it's only one R is between a vowel and a consonant, in that case it's going to be soft. For example, when you say árbol, árbol, árbol is soft and hierro is strong. Then we have this N with a tilde on top. That is something that we don't have in English, but in Spanish sounds like ña, ñe, ñi, ño, and ñu. Okay, so that's the kind of sound that you get. The H is in both languages, but in Spanish you will see it, but you will not say it. So is for example, the word hotel in English, you say hotel, but in Spanish it's going to be hotel. Hotel is like it's there, we write it, but we don't say it. Okay. Then the G and the J, sometimes the sound is very similar. For example, at the beginning, usually with is and is, you can have gente, or you can have jinete, or words like that, and you will see that it's not different really. I mean, in the difference between both of them in some situations. In other situations, especially when it's a U, for example, guerra, which is a war, you will see that the U, what it does basically is to make the G soft. So you have guerra, you see the U right there, so it makes guerra, right? But when you see gente, for example, that doesn't have the U, the G is going to be very strong. It's going to be gente, guerra, gente, guerra. So that's a big difference also. Now, another thing that we have in Spanish, or another difference between both languages is that in English we use some combinations of consonants that we don't have in Spanish, and also As I said before, for example, the CH in Spanish produce this chache, muchacha, mucho, always like that. And then we have the QU, which produces something like K in English. So we have queso and quiso. This happens with the combination QUE or QUI. Sometimes when you use the A or the U or the O, what you do instead is to use the C. So you say cosa with C, okay? Now, in Spanish, we don't have any word with FF. For example, office in Spanish will be oficina, only with one F. We have no PH, so you don't have physics with PH. You have física with an F, okay? So remember, FF and PH usually in Spanish is an F. So many words that begins with SP, for example, Spain. So in Spanish has to have an E in front, so España, right? And then we have no SS, no words with SS. For example, session, it's going to be in Spanish sesión. And then we have no TH, so TH theater in Spanish will be teatro with only one T, right? We have no TT, attractions, in Spanish it's going to be atracciones, so it's going to be only one T. And then we have the combination MM in English, that in Spanish is NM, so it's going to be inmigrante. So immigrant in Spanish, you have to write it with NM. And then we don't have, as I said before, if you have to write the N sound that you don't have in English, do not write NI because it looks like. So it has to be niño, has to be N-I-Ñ-O, or año, N-Ñ-O. And remember what I said also before, if you write QU, the U is silent, so you have to get if you want to get the U sound, like in cuatro, you have to write with a C, cuatro, but if you write QU, it's going to be queso or quiero. You see the U is not there anymore, okay? A few more things. Be careful with the combination IE or EI, because in Spanish, remember, it has a different sound. So this one, for example, is going to be seis, because it's EI, seis. And this one is going to be siete. This is 6, and this is 7. Seis and siete. Okay? Remember what is said about the H. In Spanish, it's silent, it's there, but we don't say it. And also be careful with some words like mayor. It's in Spanish, it's going to be with Y. Okay? Now, another thing that we have in Spanish that is important to point out right now is that the Spanish language uses something like that we don't have it in English, but it's very convenient. So most of the words will not have an accent, and it's for a reason. In this semester, we will not work on the use of accents, but it's important to know that when you see any word in Spanish with an accent there, when the syllable has an accent, but that basically indicates that you have to stress right there. So this word, for example, tímido, you can say it in 3 different ways, but it's only one that is correct. So if I see the accent right here, I have to stress right here. It has to say tímido. I don't say tímido, I don't say tímido. No, I am stressing right here. Tímido. It goes here, higher, and then it goes down. So if I see this word that has the accent right here, it's going to be Raúl, Raúl, Raúl. So the accent goes right here. I don't say Raúl, I say Raúl. Here is árbol. This one is símbolo. This one is intención, intención. You see the stress goes right here. And if you see it in a sentence, it's going to be ella llevó el lápiz. So the accent here, llevó, and here lápiz. So you see I stress right there. Now, in this case, you have a group of words that basically has the things that we have seen so far. For example, the first one, you have to say niño. You see the ño sound right there. The second one is hotel. You see the H is there, but we don't say it. It's hotel. Right? The next one is inmigrante. You see the NM, inmigrante. The next one is lluvia, lluvia. LL produces U. Lluvia. The next one is muchacho. Muchacho. You see the U is mu, and then we have CH, chacho, muchacho. The next one is espejo, espejo, mirror, right? The next one is filosofía. You see in this case, PH becomes F, and then I see, the accent in the I at the end, so I have to stress right there. It has to be filosofía, filosofía. The stress goes right there. And the last one is quiero comprar una casa. So remember, in this case, QU produces kie, right? And also at the end, the CA produces K. Quiero comprar una casa. Remember, the combination CO or CA produces com, K. But if you have the vowel E or I, in this case, if you want to produce that sound, it's going to be QU. Okay, quiero. Now, let's talk about, this situation right here. Well, in this case, we have, I'm going to read it in Spanish and we'll translate it, and then I will ask you to tell me how to translate or how to basically put together the situation. In this case, it says in Spanish, es el primer día de clase de español y los estudiantes entran en la clase. Juan y María se sientan cerca y Juan saluda a María. Well, it says, it's the first day of classes, of the Spanish classes, right? And the students enter into the classroom. John and Maria sit nearby, and John greets or say hello to Maria. So he says, hello. How do you say hello in Spanish? Hola. Maria responde. Maria answers. Hello. Good morning. Hola. Buenos días. Juan introduces himself. My name is Juan. What is your name? Me llamo Juan. Me llamo Juan. ¿Cómo te llamas? Maria answers. My name is Maria. Me llamo María. El profesor entra en la clase y dice, the professor enters the class and he says, hello, good morning, I am the professor, and my name is Enrique Martinez. Hello, good morning, I am the professor, and my name is Enrique Martinez. Hola, buenos días, soy el profesor y me llamo Enrique Martinez. Juan doesn't understand the name of the professor and asks Maria, what's his name? ¿Cómo se llama? Maria answers, his name is Professor Enrique Martinez. Se llama Profesor Enrique Martínez. Al final de la clase, el profesor dice, good afternoon, see you tomorrow. At the end of the class, the professor says, buenas tardes, nos vemos mañana.